Hi everyone, this is Bob, and this is my first Note to Self-Talk for Fromm class at MVS. And for my first video, I wanted to talk about something that really stood out to me from our class discussions, and that is the dichotomy of, between life and death that humans can perceive and experience. And so basically the root of the conflict is that we as humans, and we are unique in this fact, but we can perceive our own death. We're aware and cognizant of the fact that we can die. But at the same time, our bodies, like all other living things, are intrinsically meant to live and survive. We have numerous bodily functions that are in place basically for the sole purpose of us living. So, understanding this, you look at the fact that people in the world live sort of in the context of their own deaths. And on page 40 in the chapter titled Human Nature and Character, he has a quote that kind of sums up the whole relationship, and he says, "Man visualizes his own end, which is death. Never is he free from the dichotomy of his existence. He cannot rid himself of his mind even if he should want to. Likewise, he cannot rid himself of his body as long as he is alive, and his body makes him want to be alive." So, understanding that, it's still hard for us as humans because we're aware of death, of the limitations of our existence. But at the same time, we cannot limit our existence. We cannot limit ourselves while we are living. Basically, we have to, as we said in class, be comfortable with death. And that can seem sort of weird because death in our society is looked on as sort of an impending doom. It's a very uncomfortable thing to imagine. But basically, as we said in class, you have to sort of be aware of it, but at the same time shut down the conscious awareness of it. You can't apply or think about death in anything that you think or do in life because you're necessarily limiting your potential as a human being. So applying this to the whole societal issue of people living in the context of their own deaths, there are plenty of people, and I'm sure I can include myself in this, that won't do certain things that could probably provide necessary and excellent life experience because we are either afraid of death or we are so aware of it that we want to avoid it. And thus we won't do things. I guess the classic example is like skydiving. Tons of people won't skydive because they're afraid, well, what if I die doing it? Well, I guess the question is, what if you die doing it? Well, why are you not aware, but afraid of death and pursuing something that would give you this incredible life experience? So, I guess the point is, and Fromm kind of argues this, is that we have to be comfortable with death, and in that we have to be aware that we're going to die, but at the same time not apply that to anything we do while living. So it's like, this is a weird analogy, but it's like when you clean a room, you don't clean it and then sit there and watch it until it gets dirty. You clean it and then you're comfortable with it, so you go, do other things in the rest of your life. So likewise, you have to be, you have to get to a point where you're aware of, the fact that you can die, but you have to sort of put it on the back burner. You can't apply it to anything, and you can't be afraid of death while you're living, because you're going to rob yourself of any experience that can give you the sort of feelings and sensations that give you insight to what it is to be a human being. So basically, I guess in wrapping up and applying this to, the note to self format. So in 10, 20, 30 years down the road, what I would say to myself or anyone else watching this is, whatever you do, live life completely in the moment, and that you can't think about anything beyond your existence while you're living. Because when you do that, you're limiting yourself, you're limiting your potential for what you can experience and what you can do and achieve as a human being. So yeah, I guess that's my general thought on this. So thank you for listening.